Hello and welcome back to Billy Ho Sports. The Kentucky Derby post position draw will be the Saturday prior, April 26th. Not sure, but it'll be live streaming. It's a big event. They'll do it in the big arena that they built, the turf arena where they post parade them out. So be on the lookout for that. What I want to do before we get to that point is a couple of videos just to kind of start to get together a pool of good horses that we want to take a look at. And today we're going to rate, review, rank those final 7 prep races like you would a strength of schedule in the NFL, a power rankings, if you will. So I'm going to cover each of the prep races, and not in any particular order, but we're going to rate them strongest at the end to the weakest, and we're going to talk about who exited those races that are in the Derby that may move forward. Now, giveaways. We've been giving away Derby glasses. I appreciate everybody that reached out, and I've sent all the Derby glasses that everybody's emailed me. There's still several winners that never did email me, so I'll have a few extra Derby glasses to give away. And as part of this particular show, we'll go ahead and give away a video or a video glass for the next show. So what I want in the comments of this video is which prep race you thought was the strongest and why. So all the commenters, we'll put them in a draw. We'll spin the wheel for a Derby glass. My next video is going to be like a top 10 list, current, before, pre-post draw, so to speak. So be on the lookout for that video. So the other giveaway, the big one for the first official post draw preview show, the real official one, and I'll let you know which one that is. I'm giving away the 1974 100th anniversary Derby glass. So that's going to be the one, and this is how you enter. You have to subscribe to the channel, free and easy to do. Just click the button. Next, you leave a comment in the video with your pick to win Kentucky Derby 151. Lastly, like and share the video. Then you're in. So basically, when that happens, if nobody picks the winner, we'll just go down the order of finish till we find somebody. And if there's multiple people, then we'll just put them in a draw for the Derby glass and do it like that. So now on with the show. The Florida Derby, I ranked, this kind of scale 1 to 10, nothing really crazy, but I give it a 9. I thought it was the strongest prep. I thought Tapan Street was excellent. I thought Saez made a very strong move on the turn, but he needs to be careful not to do that too soon in the Kentucky Derby because he will get eaten up in the stretch, depending on the weather and the track conditions and all that kind of good stuff. But he may not hold position down the stretch doing that again. Now, I thought Sovereignty was forced wide around the first turn by Entered the Dragon. And but I thought he moved well through the race. He moved forward and closed strong. And something that I'm paying more attention to, and I'm going to study a little bit more, and I'll have more information down the road on this, is the gallop out once they finish the race. And I thought both horses galloped out quite well. Crossing the line, Tapan Street looked good. He veered out a little bit, but I don't think that was anything to show fatigue or anything like that. But I thought the 10-horse Sovereignty still had a lot of spring in his step. And I think he wants more. I think Bill Mott doesn't always have them dialed up to the max before the Derby. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what's in store for Sovereignty coming up. I thought Matticat Road, 4 wide on the turn as well. He weakened a bit late. He's going to be a good front runner for Baffert. Neo Equos, I thought, that won the battle for third place. No match for the winners. But I thought he was still running at the wire and looked pretty good. So that one is my top prep. It's got 4 Derby horses in it. So, and then we're going to jump over to the Jeff Ruby. This one was a 6.5 for me. I thought 2 Derby horses obviously entered. Flying Mohawks, Pedigree, Screams, Turf, Synthetic. I don't think he's a fit for the Derby. But Final Gambit is by Not This Time, a prolific sire. Great crop of 3-year-olds this year. Brad Cox is a genius at transitioning horses from the all-weather to the dirt. He's already had two good works at Churchill. I'm fully fired up for Final Gambit, going off at hopefully high double digits, like in the teens and 20s. But you never know. But that is your Jeff Ruby outcome. The next one up, I see the Louisiana Derby. This one was only a 6. I thought it was one of the weaker preps. I thought the plan for John Hancock was sound enough. He broke clean out of the one post and he went to the lead, set a fast pace. Not hot fire, but pretty fast. He just didn't have the horse to hang in there down that long stretch drive. So Brad Cox obviously didn't pursue any further inquiries into trying to get him to the Derby, which he wouldn't have qualified anyway. Same for Built. He looked like he was a little closer than that. But then you have Chunk of Gold, who is in the Derby. I thought he had a perfect trip inside the rail, ground saving, closer to the pace. But the average win distance shows up at 6.8 furlongs. So I don't know if that's the classic distance. It being which will help is he is a more of a ground saver and a stalker. So he conserves a little bit of energy for the late kick. But I just don't know about. I'll have to rethink my highly thought of long shot play. But I still think he's in the mix. His post draw will dictate a lot too. Then you have Tiz who Tastic, who is a gigantic horse. He was thundering down the stretch, and it almost like you could feel the ground shaking when he was coming home. And so Louisiana Derby is a mile and 3/16, which is the longest prep. So Tistastic can definitely pass all the. He'll be picking them off late if we do have a hot pace like everybody anticipates. So I don't really like Tistastic as like a winner, but I thought he performed just fine. He's been really good for Asmussen, and he's improving. So anyway, on to the Arkansas Derby. I give a 7.5. I thought it was a stronger prep than the Louisiana Derby, but not as strong as Florida. And this is one of those races I had the feeling, and a lot of people probably did. I knew who was going to win, and I knew how it was going to happen. And that was kind of how it was with Sandman with this setup. We knew it was going to be a fast pace. We knew he'd like to close. We knew he'd be in position. He broke well, which should help him in the Derby find position. So if he can get out of the gate, he doesn't have to be super fast. He just needs to be quicker than the horses next to him. And then if he can shuffle over and find a good spot, he'll be fine. Finished strong. He earned a 99 Beyer speed figure, which is on course with the natural progression of horses entering the Derby. The next step, if he does move forward, would put him into the low mid hundreds, 104, 105, which would be a winning performance. So we'll see. Publishers, the other one, low key improving as well. I've got some things to say about him. He earned a 95 Beyer for that second place finish. I went back and looked. His Rebel Stakes was better than it looked as well. He was gaining late up the gut to fourth place, but during that stretch drive, he was squeezed like a zit and got held up for just a little bit. Or I think his finish would have been much closer, maybe even won the race. I don't know for sure. But the other horse, obviously, Cold Battle, fought valiantly once again. He was really keen early on. I didn't notice that at first when I watched the first replays a couple of times. He wanted to chase Speed King and Cornucopian badly, but Vargas did a nice job of keeping him in check. He made the move around the turn. He just got out finished. He wasn't really fading or weakening that much. He just got outran. Now, this is where it gets interesting. The average win distance, I keep looking at it, 6.5 furlongs. The Dam Sire on the other side, this is according to Brisnet, 6.6 furlongs. When I look at classic distance horses, I want them to be over 7, 7.2, 7.5, 7.0 is pretty good. 6.8 is about the bare limit, but a little bit lower and being on both sides as well. I'm like, where's he finding this distance? So I dove into the pedigree and found a Triple Crown winner on both sides of his bloodline. We'll get to that in a second. But also, AP Indy is in the sire line on both sides as well as a great grandsire of Cold Battle. AP Indy, obviously, monster horse back in his day. And that leads me to his sire, Seattle Slew. We all know, if you remember your Derby history, Triple Crown winner Seattle Slew, he came out and dominated, winning like his first He won every race right up until till the Belmont, and then he tried the swaps at the end of the season instead of just calling it a year and coming back the following year. He tried the swaps and then he lost. He got fourth place, but that's where I see Cole Battle getting that extra eighth of a mile. He certainly won't act. He certainly won't lack for effort. I'm not completely counting him out, but it's still, it is several bloodlines back to get to Seattle Slews, so he still may fade in the stretch, but we'll see what happens. Bluegrass Stakes up next. That's a 7.5. I thought it was another very powerful prep race. It was off the radar due to the Tuesday card and the terrible weather we had in Kentucky, but the race still lived up to the hype. The reemergence of both East Avenue and Burnham Square, to a lesser extent Burnham Square because he did win the Holy Bull. He just kind of finished fourth in the Fountain of Youth after that. But anyway, East Avenue obviously fell on his face his last two efforts, so it was now or never for him, and boy did he show up. He's just a horse, horse for the course at Keeneland, or maybe he can just take it the distance. I mean, he's got his pedigree is like 7.2 average win distance, so he's definitely a horse that can get after it. The winner, Burnham Square, is by Liam's Map, more suited for middle distances like the Bluegrass, a mile to 9 furlongs. But the thing that makes him special is the deep closing style. He's not Liam's Map was more of a front runner. He's able to use his speed though. He has speed in the middle of the race. He gets up within striking distance at the turn, which I really like for the Kentucky Derby. He earned a 96 buyer, which was the same as East Avenue. So those two horses I'm pretty fond of coming into the Kentucky Derby as well. Now, next up, Wood Memorial. I thought it was a solid 7. I'd take it home for dinner. Breaking from the catbird seat was Rodriguez. The veteran jock Mike Smith had his way early on, and by the half mile, it looked like a done deal. This was another race when Hill Road scratched because I was really liking Hill Road, but once he scratched out, it just became apparent to me Rodriguez was going to win the race. If he got a clean break, if he got an easy lead and set reasonable fractions, he'd be fine. He did all that. Now, what the other one was, Grande, Todd Pletcher barn, sired by Curlin. So he's a try hard. Very lightly raced colt entering the Wood Memorial off just 2 races, but that second race came at 9 furlongs, which is not always the case for horses traveling that distance that soon. So Pletcher was figured, what the hell? It's now or never. If he can get this distance, we know what we got. Well, he obviously did it and got it done. So he had early trip trouble in the wood, way wide around turn 1, but he quickly engaged because he's more of a front runner in his first 2 races. So he quickly engaged the pack. He was in the top flight of horses by the 3/4 pole and uncorking as they hit the stretch. It was just too much horse left for A-Rod and Mike Smith for him to catch down the stretch, but definitely best of the rest. I think it's a good race for him to move forward on too. So Grande, definitely good chance. Santa Anita Derby, an 8. I docked it a point for the short field, but still well deserving of an 8. The competition in race alone wasn't as good as I thought when I went back and looked at it. I really thought, obviously, journalism was awesome. He established himself as the clear-cut favorite. Trainer Mike McCarthy has to be happy. He's the horse to beat as far as I'm concerned right now. But rewatching the race, I thought Rispoli made a couple of lackadaisical, lack of judgment type moves that got journalism in trouble more than once. So I don't think that, I think if he'd have just held the horse back in a 5-horse race, he could have just chilled in the back and it would have been a done deal. He would have probably destroyed him down the stretch regardless. But all that trip trouble, and I think inflated his buyer number. 108 buyer, I thought's way too high for that race. Beza, I thought, who got a 101, I thought that was pretty well deserved. I would have been 104, 105 would have been fine, but 108's, come on. So anyway, to wrap things up, I do believe you need to gather a pool of horses, but you don't want to fall in love with any horse until you get a post draw because you don't want to run into like somebody that had Dornick on their Dornock, on their radar last year. I did, but then he drew the one post. And now what do you do with the one post? I love the horse so much. Well, he had a terrible race, so you can't do anything from the one post. So we have to wait till the post draw to make sure that our horse gets a good spot. Then the draw will hopefully put some of those borderline contenders in a bad spot. That way you can eliminate some of your horses and get it down to a more reasonable pool. So I will have a lot more to come on this kind of strategy. So stay tuned. Next up is probably going to be the top 10 list. So get those comments in. And until next time, we'll see you soon.